Okay, greetings. Welcome to the channel. Glad you ended up here. I hope you are one of those who are meant to see this. I hope you are in the right place. So, what I wanted to start with is something that I actually wrote up as a comment to another YouTube video just a moment ago. It was a video about the Hopi prophecy, the Hopi tribe of North America in, I think was it northern Arizona? I think it was Arizona, where this tribe of Hopi people lived traditionally and still do have a reservate. How do you call this? Well, this is not the main topic of the video, although it is a fascinating topic. You can find it up. If you look up Hopi prophecy, H-O-P-I. Well then, and I will make another separate video about this. But there was interesting comments, and I have this habit of ending up writing pretty long and detailed comments that actually I should just release as their own releases. It's sometimes even too much for a YouTube comment. So now here goes. So it was something about the Hopi prophecy, and there was another comment about human soul. It was about souls. And here's my idea. Well, it's not my idea actually. Well, it's an idea that I have, but in essence I heard this from the Kabbalists. If you know the Kabbalistic tradition of the Hebrew people, of the ancient Israel, or Jewish people essentially, although the people of Israel are different from Jews. There's a slight distinct difference, but Kabbalah is an old Hebrew tradition, thousands of years old, and the central idea is from there. But I also, because I like to use all of the traditions, whenever different spiritual and religious traditions match, they conceptualize certain principles in the same way, that they correlate, that they are harmonious, that they are synchronous, however you want to say it, similar. I like to take all perspectives in, but Kabbalah is the essential or the core tradition and teaching where I derive this idea from. The Kabbalists are who I heard it from. Here goes. This world that you and I exist in, this human world, the creation, the manifest world, the creation as opposite to the creator. This created, manifested world, natural world, is a crucible, or even a cauldron, a pot of soul generation. This is a place where souls are made. This means that generally people here around you and also within you, like in this comment I wrote 98% of the walking, talking beings around you by default do not have a soul. Just like when you go into a school, be it an elementary or a junior high, high school, whatever you have, by definition, 98% of the people or younglings there do not have knowledge yet, because that's the place where they are supposed to learn it. So by default, if you're in a school, you do not know yet what you are there to learn. Same goes for this place. And that's why it's said that this is an, how do you call it? A school where you stay in. You don't go out, you don't live elsewhere. What do you call this? I do not know the English word. Leave a comment. Sisäoppilaitos in Finnish. Like, is it something interim, internal, or something? A school that you stay and live in and you learn there. Some also call this creation, this material world, that some even call it a jail or a prison, like a spiritual jail or a prison. But it depends how happy your heart is. How you see this world is dependent on how you're happy and joyous your heart is. If you are not in a very happy place, then you might see it as a jail or like being locked in a institution somehow. But it's a place of learning, and what we learn here, you could even say it's a place of unlearning. We are born here and we gain this mortal ignorance, this mortal body, mind, heart, emotions, that is our relationships, our desires, our aversions. This is karma, basically. We get it when we are born here, or it is slowly built in us, and then the subject and the learning here is actually unlearning. It's becoming pure again of all that which essentially isn't you, isn't us, isn't spirit, isn't pure consciousness. Actually, it's a school of unlearning. But I see that I'm kind of like, I am working on this idea as I go, so it might already start to sound a little bit complicated or multifaceted. Well, anyways, let's try to go on. Thus, by definition, 99% of the people, creatures around you, do not have a soul. This is a place of soul generation. We create new souls here. It's like a boiling kettle or a cauldron, like I said. I don't know if crucible is the word. I think it's used this way, but it's not that familiar to me. Excuse me. We do not have souls. Most of the people around you are soulless. If you want to say it that way. It sounds kind of movie-like. Dramatic, sounds very dramatic. No, everyone has a seed of spirituality. And this is where the Kabbalistic teaching comes in. Kabbalah teaches us that we are born with a seed of soul within, and it is our job to cultivate this, to germinate and cultivate and to sprout, if that's a verb in that sense, just to sprout, to grow, to cultivate this seed of spirituality, of truth, of love, of beauty, of unity, oneness, consciousness, spirit. But very few people do this, because our national and international systems, socio-economic systems, aren't designed and made for us to learn this art of cultivating spiritual seed within us. Actually, it's designed for the exact opposite purpose of keeping us unaware, unknowing, unconscious or subconscious about it. There is no such thing as unconsciousness, according to, let's say, Advaita or classical Indian non-duality, which you might be familiar with if you ended up watching this video. But so, you see, there's many concepts, many arts, many traditions coming in now, and this is a good initial video also for this channel, because I will be using many systems and uniting them as one. I believe all of the world's religions speak of the one same universal truth, which is the presence of God, the foundational truth within, that you can manifest in flesh. The Word can become into flesh. That's probably paraphrasing. English is not my native language, and I have not read the Bible in English, only some quotes, but nevertheless, let's keep on going with the theme of soul generation. In Eastern traditions, in Buddhism especially, this cultivation of the spiritual seed is depicted as lotus, the flower lotus. That's why lotus is pure and sacred in the East, especially in Buddhism, but also Tao. I think Taoist and Dharmic or other Dharmic systems like Hinduism also recognizes the purity of lotus as it grows from the depths of the river, where there's mud. It's very muddy and dark waters there. It basically grows up from dead fall off, and it has to fight through all the water to grow to the surface of the water, and then to bloom and open up. And this is represented in as the chakra systems, that the final crown chakra opens up as a lotus, the kingdom of heaven, to reach the kingdom of heaven. This is when a soul is actually activated. It becomes fully mature, fully developed, fully active, fully operational. What might the correct word be? And very few people reach this point. This is called the enlightenment. The enlightenment. Reaching the kingdom of heaven. Dying while you're still alive, like being reborn into spirit, being resurrected. The old self dies, that was born in the depths of the river, and the lotus that arises to bask in the sunlight is the new spirit that is. The spirit is eternal, but the new identity that is born reaches to the surface, and this is the soul. This is what a soul is, and only very, 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 very few people in the world reach this point during their lifetime. Of course, I suppose the lifetimes, there's cycles, and we repeat this cycle of suffering until finally it is done for each and every one of us, whatever that might be that reincarnates. That's a whole different topic. Is it Atma and Anatta? There's different kinds of ideas, but this place and this human experience with all its pleasure and suffering is a test, it's a school, it's a learning process, it's an unlearning process, it's a process of soul generation. Basically, in the pressures of a cooker, of a boiling pot. There's a pressure and there's uplift, there's heat, there's pressure, uplift, it's bubbling and boiling. But the direction is always up. That is how souls are made. Therefore, I repeat, very few people have soul. Well, what is a soul then? Why do we even need it? What is that? And we should ask also the question, what are we then if not a soul? What is reincarnated if not a soul? Because usually it's said that the souls, it's soul cycle. In my native tongue you would call sielun kierto, which is the rotation or cycle of a soul. But no, actually Kabbalah teaches us that we are here to generate a soul, and when we generate a soul, we are graduated from this place, and we can go to anywhere, so to speak. Where anywhere? Yeah, what is a soul? Why do we need it? A soul is a vessel. It's a vehicle. Just like I have this mug here that withholds a bit of a coffee, leftover coffee, that I feel tempted to drink, but it will just make my tongue drier and drier and make speaking this phonetically difficult language, it will make it even more hard or harder. But this is a vessel. It's a vessel that I can transport something within. It might not be a perfectly good example, but this is what a soul is. A soul is a vessel. It's an instrument. It's you could say a body in the more abstract sense. Like this is a body in an abstract sense. When we speak of bodies, we think of physical, biological human bodies, but actually many systems say we have emotional bodies, intellectual bodies, astral bodies, energetic bodies. Different kinds of systems exist that explain that there's a body within a body within a body within a body, and these are basically our vessels of reaching different realms of human experience or conscious experience. A soul is a vessel or a body, a light body, with which we can experience further dimensions, so to speak. We are born with this instrumentation, these bodies, and we can experience 3 or 4 dimensions, maybe even 5, depends how you define it. The 3 spatial ones and the temporal one, and then you could say there's the 5th, which is kind of like, well, let's not go there. Let's try to narrow it down and not meander too far away. Leave something for the next videos. We already have 18 minutes as well. A soul is a vessel or a body with which we can experience further dimensions, and more importantly, the essential spiritual background reality. We exist in there's the reality of God, or the field of consciousness, field of the absolute field of beingness, and we are coagulated. We are kind of like localized contraptions within that field, and when we are become contrapted in these bodies and in this mind and in these individual perspectives that we live in as and through, we become blind and unaware of the spiritual ocean and sea of perfect bliss that is the foundational reality of any experience. Now, soul is a vessel and a body with which we can experience and move in the eternal bliss, in the kingdom of heaven. in moksha, in perfect, to be in union with God, Godhead, to join the ranks of angels and deities and gods. All of these categories of creatures have souls. It's the soul which makes them immortal. And because they have soul and they are immortal and they have become conscious of the field of consciousness out of which they emerge from anyways, they are free to move in the realm of God, in the realm of heaven. This is what a soul is. It's a passport to move freely in, I don't even say in the creation, in the uncreated, in the unmanifest, in the raw potential creative power and field which is the Almighty God. A soul is our passport to that. And then we can go, as we say, meet our Maker. This is what a soul is. And this is when you reach a state of having a soul, or actually I would say you become a soul. Like I said, your old identity dies away and it becomes like an empty cup that I can it's not essential to me. I can ditch it. I can take a shirt off. I can leave my belongings. It's okay. I'm fine. I'll move forward. The soul becomes our new identity. It is who we are. Actually, who we are is God itself, the perfect field of consciousness, because this is all that is. But because even within that, even the realm of God, there are created beings, angels, deities, lesser gods, god pantheons, or is it pantheons? Pantheons. All of these are somehow individuated. All of these are manifested facets of the one eternal being, the perfect being that exists. Okay? God is one. There's not many gods. Well, there's the lesser gods, but the Almighty, the Absolute, the Tao, the Father, this is which governs all, and everything is that. Om Tat Sat. Tattvam Asi. Everything is that. Everything is that one. Everything is that one God. But even within himself there are different kind of angels. Ophanim, there's Seraphim, there's Cherubim or Cherubim. All kinds of different creature categories. Well, how is it that the God is only one, but still it has faces, facets, it has certain kind of emanations? This happens basically by having a soul. A soul is that within you, you recognize that essentially you are just certain water in the currents of the ocean. And there's no separation from this water from that water in the ocean. Okay? Where do you draw the line between this wave of the ocean and that wave of the ocean? Where is the line between different... Human sees different waves. That's the wave number 1, and then after that comes wave number 2. But where do you draw the line? This is all in the human mind, in the human rationality. The nature itself doesn't know anything like that. But then again, waves are a reality. But soul is something like this. It's being a particular current or wave in the ocean that has its specific characteristics. A current in the ocean is not separate from all of the other water, but we can still define, okay, this is more saline, this is more fresh water, this is what's the word? Bracken water? What's the word? Of whatever. This is warmer stream, this is colder stream, this is going on the top, this is going at the bottom of the ocean, whatever. Different directions and so on and so forth. This is what the soul is. This is what gods and angels are. They are part of one perfect divine ocean, but still there are certain kind of dynamics and characteristics. And when a human reaches the state of soul, the human ditches their mortal identity and is born into a current or a wave in a perfect ocean of love, bliss, and unity. I think this is so beautifully said that I can end this video here. Don't you think? Let's continue our exploration and conceptualization of the completely incomprehensible, absolute, beautiful essence that is God, that is the foundational spirit, the great spirit. Let us continue our exploration and conceptualization at another video. Now I hope you enjoyed. I sure did. I feel like I could go on a bit further. So if you feel like it, please subscribe and like the video, leave a comment. It's all good. And I hope to see you another time. Alright then, my friend. Be in peace and harmony and prosperity.